Aloha, namaste, sitaram, assalamu alaikum. Greetings to each and every one of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. For wherever you are, I welcome you and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Dianne Ojar, and you're on the Divine Soul Journey. And we're going to go on a journey today with an amazing woman who has a story to share. And I would like you to take notes about this story because she's an author. And I'm telling you, only someone who has walked in his shoes can write this book. As a disclaimer, as you know, this is not about religion whatsoever. We respect everybody's faiths and beliefs, and I want to thank you for that. And if you need to get a hold of us, please do email us at dsjshow2020@gmail.com. And I want to thank you for that. So about our guest today, her name is Francisca Epale. And she is the author of How I Conquered Breast Cancer Without Chemotherapy. Very powerful. And she's going to share her story with us today. How she conquered this. And conquering is becoming a hero. She didn't want to be the victim. And I'm sure she did lots of research for not taking the traditional path to healing. And it has to be a very strong person to make that conscious decision to beat something the natural way. So I want to please ask you to help me welcome Francisca. Welcome to the show, Divine Soul Journey, Francisca. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Diane, for having me. It's a pleasure being on your show.
Thank you so much. It's been a long time we've known each other. And then we just saw each other yesterday again. And I'm so happy to see that, what you're doing. And you're helping and educating so many people because it's a topic that's so common, so common. And everybody is naive, scrambling, seeking. There's so many words that I type for knowledge on how to deal with the big C.
Yes.
And the breast cancer, and I'm sure you're full of stats, is one of the most common types of cancer, as you know. But one of the things we do know, and one of the, I guess the number one, there's many number ones, but one of the reasons for cancer on the whole is anger and more. And of course you have stress and everything else. Not that I'm saying you were angry, but I'm saying that there are emotions attached to all of these illnesses. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you. My name is Francisca Epale. I am a Cameroonian by birth, and Cameroon is in West Africa, Jamaican by heritage, and Canadian citizen by choice. I have lived on 4 continents, and I am a former educator. I taught ESL, English as a Second Language, and French in the United States, in Canada, and China for over 20 years, from middle school to university level. I'm also an accredited community French interpreter, a speaker, and a real estate investor, as well as a certified health and life coach, and a breast cancer survivor without chemotherapy. I am the author of 4 books, one of which I co-authored, the others I wrote by myself, and my most popular book is How I Conquered Breast Cancer Without Chemotherapy, My Journey from a Mess to a Message.
Beautiful. Your journey from a mess, you said, to a message?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. let's talk about the mess. So what happened? What is the mess? What happened? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Okay. The mess is that I have 5 family members who died from cancer. Cancer is genetic. So when I was diagnosed with cancer on August the 1st, 2019, it did not come as a surprise because there are certain traits that you have, which I felt that, okay, if 5 members died from cancer, there is a strong probability that I could have it. So it was a mess. When I used to live in the United States, I felt my breast, So I went to see the doctor, and they told me that, oh, you have dense breast. There's nothing to worry. When I came to Canada, I felt a lump. I was lazy. Don't do what I did. When you feel a lump, go and seek help right away. I said, oh, it's just dense breast, nothing to worry about. Then the lump became bigger. I said, no, this has to be more than dense breast. So I went to see my doctor. He did an ultrasound. He sent me to do an ultrasound and a mammogram. Then when the results came in, his assistant called me and said, Francisca, your doctor wants to see you right away in his office immediately. I knew from the tone of her voice that this was not good news. So when I went into his office, he told me that I had stage 2 breast cancer. Then he sent me to a specialist, to another well-renowned hospital, and they did another mammogram and ultrasound, and he said the same thing. So he gave me 2 options. Francisca, I'm going to give you 2 options. 1, we can cut off your right breast, or 2, we can take out the lump and do chemotherapy. I had to use some wisdom, and I knew I wasn't going to do chemo, but I didn't tell him at first. So I said, why don't we do option 2? You can take out the lump and do the chemotherapy. So when they took out the lump, then he said that they're going to schedule me for chemotherapy. I said, no, I don't want to do chemotherapy. He looked at me, and then he said, Francisca, I have been an oncologist for 25 years, and no patient of mine has ever refused chemotherapy. I told him, relax, take it easy. It is my body. I am just exercising my patient bill of rights. The patient bill of rights states that the patient has the right to refuse treatment. I said, I have decided not to do chemotherapy. And then I said, oh, by the way, what are the side effects of chemotherapy, apart from losing your hair? Oh, you get tired. I said, that's not the side effect because I'm always tired anyway.
I know.
Then I went home and I did my research. I saw the side effects and I decided not to do the chemotherapy. But this is not an original story because I read about a doctor in Jamaica who had cured her breast cancer without chemotherapy. And I reached out to her to ask her if I could use her name in my book. And she said yes. So she's the one who gave me the idea that I could get cured without chemotherapy. So, to cut a long story short, I went and saw a naturopathic doctor. She worked with me, and a year later, I had to come back for a follow-up. And when I went to that same oncologist, the guy who was upset with me said, oh, Francisca, whatever that doctor did, he did a good job. So I said in my heart, look at this hypocrite, right? He was angry with me at first, but now that I'm cured, he's happy. So he said he did a good job, and I went again for another follow-up the second year, and he said that I don't need to see him anymore. I should follow up with my family doctor. So that's my story in a gist.
That's amazing. You know, one of the things that I would say, and congratulations for being the hero in this, and you can be the hero for so many people, and you are, is the fact that we have to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
We lose our hair in any case on a daily life. We're supposed to lose our hair. And it has to go back, and if it does, choose to. And I've lost a lot of hair for many different reasons. And not because a doctor says you should be on any kind of medication for whatever reason, means that you really have to agree. You have to research this because everybody's body reacts differently.
Yes.
But the fact that is, there are alternate. I have known people who have been healed. Now, I have to say this as a disclaimer: I am not a doctor. Okay, I am a master practitioner in NLP and hypnotherapy, where I cannot say I heal you or cure you.
Yes.
But I'm also a Tao Hands practitioner, where I can say there's healing helps. So I have to know who I'm speaking to. I have seen people on many different levels who are master teachers and grandmaster healing. The power of the mind is incredible. I have a girlfriend who, this show will be aired on her station. She was diagnosed with cancer. Now, we did a lot of different sessions with her for many different reasons. Then she found out she had cancer. I did a session with her, and she's very public about it, so I can talk about it, called The Elephant in the Room, which transformed. But she had to detach from a lot of things she was holding on to emotionally. And she was very angry and very upset about everything. People were taking advantage of her, business-wise, family-wise, and she was just couldn't breathe. So we did some sessions with her. We did some healing with her. I also got some friends to do some other type of healing with her, what we call a soul operation, because we work on the soul level. And we did that. And in 6 weeks, she went back for the testing, and we were going to have her on the show that night. She said she sat there for an hour with her son crying because they couldn't find the cancer. The doctors were surprised. They still to this day don't believe, and this is a few years ago. They still do not believe what happened. We know what happened. She knows what happened. Then she became a Tao Hands practitioner because she wanted to learn about the science. There's a science behind everything. The Tao science. And Tao, this is not Taoism. This is about Tao means, divine source. It's very powerful. So I understand what you're saying. We can be reversed and healed from many, 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 many different chronic illnesses. There are some stages where we had one girl had liver cancer in the liver, and it was like over 80%. Not myself, but it's documented that our grandmaster teacher, and she had to do certain practices, and it went down to like 10% or something to that effect until it totally disappeared. And she searched for teachers, and she searched for something for years. So there is healing once you listen to your body. So I want you to thank you for sharing that. Now tell me, what are some of the challenges that you went through? Because we're talking about, a year plus more, and that part of the journey, and we're not here to relive the journey, we're here to revisit it without attaching ourselves to it, to share it with you for those who may have someone, a loved one or yourself. We're not here to convince you whatsoever, but if we're planting something to the consciousness and the awareness, awesome. So if you can tell us and share with us some of what you had to go through for that year plus.
Okay.
Everybody's journey is different, right?
Yes. That year when I was diagnosed with cancer, at that time I was in a situation where I wasn't working full time. I had a job where I was a French interpreter. I still am, but I'm not as fully engaged, where I had to go to all kinds of areas. I had to go into the hospitals and private homes, to the police station, in the courts. So I was everywhere. I had to go all kinds of corners. I had to go to private homes and even mental institutions. So it was a very stressful job. So according to my research, the causes of cancer are fivefold. Now, there's a medical disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. I'm a health coach. So I am just sharing my journey. And if you have any situation, you need to seek help. You need to seek medical attention. This is just my journey that I'm sharing. through my research, there are 5 causes of cancer. The first one is chronic stress. The second one is diet. The third one is lifestyle. The fourth one, environmental toxins. And the fifth one is genetic. So I wanted to change the trajectory of my family's life. I didn't want to be the victim. So I decided that I'm not going to use chemo. And during that year when I was curing myself, I had to change my lifestyle. For instance, the doctor advised me to wear a sports bra for 6 months. But after the 6 months, I decided to continue wearing sports bra. Till today, I wear sports bra because it doesn't have a wire underneath. You know the wire, right?
Yes.
Right, Dianne? Yeah.
There's a restriction because there's a restriction in the flow as well in the breathing, right? Because again, there's a couple of things, air and water, the breath. And water is very important in terms of for your body because we're made up about 70-80% water, right? And we need the air to breathe. And women do actually sleep with bras. They do, which is crazy. I know my kids used to, and I thought they were nuts.
Yeah. So the doctor advised me, even before, oh, by the way, I'll even regress. Before I went to China to go teach English, I saw a homeopathic doctor, and he told me that my right breast is only working 45%. And I was supposed to travel to China in 2 weeks' time. I didn't pay any attention to that. But in retrospect, he was trying to tell me that there's something wrong with my right breast.
Okay, sorry. Wait a moment. First of all, I know what dense breast is, and it's very painful. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's painful, especially when you have to have a mammogram or breastfeeding or whatever. But when he said your breast is not functional, is that what you said? Functional, right?
It's not functioning well.
Well, what exactly does he mean? Because I never heard that terminology. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but I never heard anyone say it's not functioning well. So what exactly, how is the breast not functioning well? Because these are first time I'm hearing this, like I said, that can help people understand. And that could be another trigger, another sign, another tip or alert, alarm for you to know. So what does that mean exactly?
What he meant that my breast wasn't functioning well, it means that it was not a normal breast. It wasn't working at 100% capacity. That's what he meant in layman's language.
No, I understand. But what is the purpose of the breast? The function, the purpose of the breast? I mean, we don't think about it except for when you're breastfeeding and it looked normal. It looked normal, right?
Yes. He was just doing an overall thing for my body, an overall examination, and he noticed my right breast was not functioning well. Yes. And I didn't pay attention because in 2 weeks' time I had to travel to China. So the year that I was under treatment, I had to take lots of supplements. I changed my lifestyle. For example, I don't use a microwave. I moved. I now have my own place, and I don't have a microwave. I've told all my friends and family, if you come to my home and you want food, don't ask me where's your microwave, because I don't use one. Because the radiation from the microwave, it causes cancer. It could cause cancer. So when I go to work, I take food that I don't need to heat up. I take things like fruit and salad intentionally so that I don't have to use the microwave. And then I drink lots of water. There's so many things that I did. It's in my book. I can't tell you everything because I won't have enough time to share everything. But I had to change my lifestyle, my diet, and so many things.
Yeah, that's amazing. Again, how I conquered breast cancer without chemotherapy. We're here with Francisca Epale. Francisca, so what is some of the other changes that you made? That was one of them.
Another change that I made that when I bake, I don't use aluminum foil. I use parchment paper.
Okay, yes. I use butcher paper as well.
And also, my lotion, I don't use any other lotion. I use a very expensive lotion, which my naturopathic doctor recommended me, which cost $35. because she said you have to be careful what you put on your body. And my home, I don't use any chemicals. I use vinegar and water to clean. I don't use those sprays. All those sprays and all those chemicals we use in cleaning, they have chemicals which could cause cancer. So my whole home has, all my friends know that. Even when I go visit my friends, I have my best friend, when I go visit her, she knows she can't put food in a microwave. If she wants to offer me food, she can't put my food in the microwave. I have to remind her. Sometimes she forgets.
Yes.
So my whole lifestyle has changed, my diet. For example, I don't eat meat, wheat, sugar. I avoid sugar, wheat, meat, and dairy.
Yes.
Those things. If I have to eat sugar, very little, very little. But I try to avoid it. And my whole,
Well, many years ago, a friend of mine had sent, his aunt had cancer, and then I believe he had cancer. He had cancer too, I believe. Oh, it's family. But his aunt lived in Miami, and he lived here. And he gave me, and he started to research, and of course now he's vegetarian or vegan possibly. And he actually gave me a video called The Cancer Inside Out, which actually, by the way, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, because it just shows how the industry is all about making money. That was mostly what it was about. And of course, changing the lifestyles. And the organic foods are absolutely ridiculously priced. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a reason for it. But in this day and age, to survive eating organic is sometimes impossible for the price and the cost. So all these things had to be done. And when you looked at this video, it was really about how the industry is pushing, the medical industry is actually pushing all these different procedures because, again, they get a kickback from it. And I'm saying that publicly, yes. And we all know this.
Yeah.
And there are times also when possibly the insurance companies may or may not, and these medicines can be crazy expensive. I mean, I have coverage, but you go even for the naturopathic, that comes on your pocket. There's some insurance companies do not actually my English is bad there. Recognize naturopathic doctors. So you're in a catch-22. So it must have been you working part-time, going through all of this in the midst of moving, been really challenging financially for you.
Yes. And also, when I was diagnosed with cancer, 3 months later, a family member died from cancer. I remember, and he suffered. He chose to use chemo, and he had cancer for 11 years. 3 different forms of cancer, because for some people, the chemo can provoke other cancers. So he had one after the other for 11 years. And I was with him during his last days, and I saw the suffering he went through, and I chose not to do chemo. It's a personal choice. Even before writing the book, Dianne, I was skeptical about writing the book. I had to seek legal opinion.
Yes.
The lawyer said, Francisca, share your book. If you don't share your book, you are selfish. But word it in a way that it is gentle, and you're not, that it is your journey. And then my publisher, who you know very well, Raymond Aaron, said that I need to get a second coach to put an eye on your book, because I don't want to get sued. Neither do I want you to get sued. So, I had to write it in a very soft tone, so as not to offend anybody or think that I'm trying to give them medical advice.
That's correct. So let me just clarify this for many people who are listening. One of the things we do, first of all, like I said, we're not here to make suggestions to anyone, convince anyone. We're not here to convince anyone, advise anyone. We're here to just make mere suggestions. But how you interpret that is totally up to you. So as a disclaimer, I'm going to say this as well. If you pick up a copy of her book or you listen to this, it's your choice. Do your homework. Do your due diligence. What's right for you? What might be right for you may not be right for anyone else, for me, or Francisca, or anybody else. So, like I said, we're not here to convince you of anything. However, if you want to explore what it is we're saying, you can't go natural. You have to remember when we were growing up in our generation, I didn't even know what cancer was when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because even if we had cancer in Trinidad, I don't know. I know diabetes because my dad was diabetic on insulin, but I didn't really know. Even my grandmother, who had dementia or Alzheimer's, I didn't even know what that was. That wasn't a labeling growing up, right? She died in '82, so I was still I was in college. But the fact is, we didn't have that. It's when I came to North America, the States first. Not even then. It's when I came to Canada that we started to hear about all these terminologies. But remember, our parents and so forth, they work hard. Everything came from the ground. My mother still, even my sister now, still grows vegetables and stuff around the yard. And this is what it is. So we just knew about diabetes and heart attacks. Really and truly, that's how naive we were. But again, people didn't get that sick. They lived to a ripe old age. From my understanding, and I believe this is true, my grandfather and my grandmother lived to 125 and one lived to 115. Somewhere around there. True. Crazy but true. That's what I was told and from many different family members. So with the right lifestyle, using your vinegar and water, which is common, it's very common then, and it's still common now as well. I have very sensitive skin and so forth, and I could only use one type of lotion, more or less. So we're here to say yes. As a disclaimer, I will keep saying it. We're not here to convince you. So yes, you're absolutely right. You had to get legal because people will misconstrue it and mix up the words that you put in there. And I'll tell you, getting a lawsuit is not an easy thing and getting sued. Right? So again, we need to just make that clear. This is what can happen. Now, let's talk about the ripe, old, most common form of the triggers, Mr. Stress and emotions. Stress is the root cause of everything. High blood pressure, illness, disease. Listen, if anybody had to be passed on a transition, you would have already. But that's not what your life purpose is. Your life purpose here, as crazy as it sounds, is to live through these so you can be a voice. But it's also clearing your karma. What people want to understand what karma is, what the things have been done. And 50% of your illnesses and what we call karma, obstacles, struggles, is due to ancestral, what your ancestors did. Like you said, it's genetics. There are curses in the family because of things your family past ancestors did. True story. I'm not kidding you about that. Whether it be in life, business, everything. Everything affects everything. So we applaud you for making sure everybody understands that you're not here to force anyone into doing anything against the will just because we're talking about it. So, Mr. Stress, with all these 5 different components, which one you believe was the number one? Because, stress comes with anger, it comes with depression, it comes with worries, it comes with fear, it comes with sadness, it comes with guilt, it comes with shame, it comes with everything. The lack of finance, everything. And stress is like in a little package in a bowl. So how did that affect you more so? Because that we can work with.
It affected me a lot. As a matter of fact, Dianne, another thing I needed to share, whenever I celebrate my birthday, I celebrate it in style because I missed dying 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 5 times I missed dying and God has saved my life. So I know I have a purpose to still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So of all the 5, the one that, apart from genetics, which I don't have control over, I could say it's the stress. It's the chronic stress.
Mm-hmm.
I was under a lot of stress at that time.
Let me ask you this question. I did recently a 21 days lifestyle, shifts and changes series in the mastermind group, one of my mastermind groups. And for 21 days, they had to work through. Every day was a different. It was broken up into 3 weeks, different topics. But the very first thing we spoke about was, and they had to practice this, is personalization. What does that mean? We take everything personally.
Yes.
Everything. If it's rain is falling, we will take that personal. If something happens, we take that personal and we personalize it. We blame ourselves for it. And that's the problem we have. Everything we take it personal. But here's what. Even if you didn't get the job or the interview or whatever the story is, we personalize it and we start to blame and blame until we start to believe our blame so much. Believe it. When you believe it, you bring in the memories and information inside of you, which, again, you have no control of outside. You have no control of this. You don't know if they had somebody else for that job. So we have to stop blaming ourselves. And there's one message you get here today. We're talking, stop blaming yourself for other people's stuff. The other people really doesn't exist, to tell you the truth. This is a holographic world we live in. So if we stop blaming ourselves, and, again, we have, now we gain control back of our life. Is that correct, Francisca?
Yes. Yes.
So how did is that something that you were doing? I'm not saying that's the only reason personalizing, but were you a person who also used to blame yourself for everything?
Not exactly. Sometimes, but not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time. Because Jack Canfield says in his book, Success Principles, that we should take 100% responsibility.
That's correct.
So everything that happens in our life, whether it's good or bad, we shouldn't blame others. So people blame their parents.
Mm-hmm.
As he was saying, when you go to work, you complain about your spouse. When
Mm-hmm.
you come home, you complain about your boss. We blame other people. But he said that we should look at ourselves. We should take 100% responsibility for ourselves.
That's correct.
And sometimes
again,
I used to blame others. I used to blame my parents that, oh, she was too strict. I wish she had did that. She would have done that. But somebody said, don't blame. Your mother was a Jamaican married to an African. At that time, that was what she knew. It was a different generation. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you take responsibility for your actions, your words, your doings, your everything, your actions, right?
Yeah.
What you've done. And that's what cause versus effect basically mean. We stop taking the finger, slap yourself every time you point your finger, meaning whether it be symbolically or not. And from the time you say, this is Francisca was caused this, you stop. Do something to smack you, to anchor it, where you will wake up and say, oh God, no, I apologize, and do a forgiveness. Apologize right there. She's not even around. But the point is, you're putting it out there. Because by the time you open your mouth, you're planting the root. So you got over that. What was the next one?
Oh, what I did? Okay, stop blaming myself. I practice gratitude. I read this book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. I practice gratitude. I do vision boards. I have my quiet time in the morning. So that helps a great deal.
Yes, gratitude.
And I'm very appreciative of the little things. When I wake up, the first thing I do is thank you, God, for waking me up. Because some people sleep. I had a cousin who died in her sleep. So whenever I wake up, I'm so happy. I say, thank you, God, for waking me up. You see, another day.
Absolutely.
And ever since I had my breast cancer and I'm cured on my birthday, I celebrate in grand style. Like the last time, when I had my birthday, we went to Niagara Falls in a limousine.
Nice.
With 12 of my friends. We went to celebrate my birthday. So I celebrate in grand style, and I told them the reason why I missed science 5 times.
Yeah, you have to celebrate. Life is a celebration. It's a party. It's not to be down. And congratulations for you for recognizing that. And you picked the 12 people with joy and people who would uplift you. That's awesome. So here's what I want to do. I want to offer you and our audience, well, particularly you, but the audience will get a splash of it, like a little hint of it, and some sprinkle of it. A healing blessing, which we had mentioned before that you're open to. Again, not here to
Okay.
convince you, but if I could make your day feel a little bit better. And, again, first of all, just to let you know, this is not Dianne doing it. This is a higher force. So I have to check. This is not my virtue. But again, we're here. So we want to pay it forward. And for everyone who is out there, you will get a bit of it. I sometimes feel it very strong when it's given to somebody else. I'm just a bystander as well. But for you, you will get, it's 100% is geared towards you. So it's very simple. I want you to put your feet on the ground, and I want you to just take your hand and put one in your lower abdomen. And I want you to, if you have physical pain, do you have any physical pain right now? Anywhere?
My back. I usually suffer from back problems because I'm
Okay.
tall.
All right. So, what's the pain level? 10 being the highest, from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. What's your pain level?
What you mean right now?
Right now, if you have it. If you don't have it, it's okay. We can still work on it. But do you have any pain
It's
level?
just 2.
Okay, good. That's fine. All the way, focusing where you put your mind is where you'll have your healing. It does not mean the rest of the body will not get the healing as well. So there's other things you can feel. Now, again, I'm not here to convince anyone, just to be open. Close your eyes. If you want to put your hand by your heart area, that's fine. You melt your heart. You open your heart. Sorry, you melt all blockages. If you want to put one hand by your heart, put one on your lower abdomen. Or if you can't reach it, just put your both hands by your lower abdomen. It's up to you.
Okay.
So I just need to close your eyes. Know that this is when you hear certain words. Tao it's not Taoism. Tao means the source, divine, God. Just another Mandarin word. You're going to hear the word Gunsong. Gunsong basically means when we call on the heavens team, the angels, God, divine. Yes, they have to rest too. So we said thank you, and you guess you can return to your humble abode. As well as how. How means hello. It also means all is good. And there's not too many Mandarin words. I wouldn't say too many Mandarin words. But however, you just follow me. So if you can just close your eyes for a moment, take some deep breaths, focus on the area. Although you may have your hand somewhere else, you're going to focus on the area that you want the healing. So if it's your back, you focus there. And you can call on any force who you connect with. Again, this is not about religion. It could be divine, Mother Mary, Jesus, a Buddha, a saint. Whoever you choose to, whoever you call will come. And just visualize that they over you are from heaven, and they're pouring down some golden light coming through your head, your crown, and going to the area in your body. And it's passing through the whole body, so you get healing for the whole body. But I mean, yes, at the back, I want you to visualize that there's like a light ball of force just spinning around the back of the area, your whole spine, from the top of your spine to the bottom, because the spine runs from the back of the neck all the way down to your tailbone. It's not one particular area, because you got to clear the blockages. These are blockages. And I'm just going to do a simple invocation, and I'll ask you to say your name and so forth in a moment. And you can do this in silence. So here we go. So just take some deep breaths. Relax. First of all, I'm just going to check with the Heavens team to make sure, yes, we have permission to do this. And give yourself permission, Francisca, and, ask yourself for permission. Give yourself permission to be open to the healing, to whatever comes to you, whatever is sent to you. There's a reason why we're talking right now. It was sent. Just one moment. How? They're divine, they're Tao, they're source. They're all a heaven's team. And the other souls, and they are the other soul, the moon, the stars, and the sky, and all. We love you, honor you, and appreciate you. Francisca, in your mind, I want you to just say this in your mind, it's fine. Just say, all my treasures in my lower abdomen, please activate. You have gifts and treasures that was given to you. Even if you don't know what it is, whenever you're praying or doing a meditation, just activate them. You'll be surprised what can happen. Dear my dog, healing hands up my down hands, yeah. Love, peace, and harmony. Thank you. Tao Bei calligraphy is the source back. Very powerful. Which is a book. Please activate. We call also on the soul, the original soul of Francisca, as well as, which is a UN soul, which is an original soul from way back time, and her physical soul, which is the one in this physical body here right now. You got two souls. We ask you to come, please activate all my treasures. And we're going to do a forgiveness practice. They are all the souls in all realms and lifetimes who Francisca and her dependents and ancestors may have hurt, fought, took action upon. In any capacity whatsoever, we ask for forgiveness. Thank you. And they're all the souls from all realms and lifetimes who may have hurt Francisca and her dependents and ancestors in any lifetimes, in any capacity. We didn't mean any harm. We didn't know best. Please note that we ask forgiveness and we give forgiveness. So all debts have been cancelled. We owe no one anything anymore. Take some deep breaths. Feel your body the way your body is feeling. And I'm going to do the blessing now. The divine, thou source, you please, as appropriate, offer a blessing. Francisca, you can see your name in silence, so you can say it out loud, your full name 3 times. For blessing as appropriate to transform any negative messages, blockages, information, darkness, whatever is in the area of her request, to transmit a beautiful love and light and beautiful information, all positive. Take some deep breaths in the area. Keep focusing that light in that area. Beautiful. Blessing. Thank you. Blessing starts. How? Thou hands rest, blessings rest. Thou hands. Francisca, put your hand in your prayer position. However you give gratitude and thanks, please do. We always do it in 3s. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Tao. Thank you, Source. Thank you, our Heavens team that came today. All the souls that came. Thank you, my Tao, our healing hands and my Tao hands and all the modalities and calligraphies we activated today. Thank you, Master Shah. Thank you, all souls, all treasures. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you. Take some deep breaths. And we say Gun Song, Gun Song, Gun Song, like I said. All the souls who came today to please. Thank you, and yes, feel free to go back to your humble abode. We truly appreciate it. Thank you. Take some deep breaths. And when you finish, we're going to get you to move around a little bit. After it's fine to move the energy. It takes a few deep breaths. When you breathe in the good, nice healing. And then when you breathe out, the toxic comes out. And what you put into it, you get out of it. Again, breathe in. And then push all that negative, toxic energy, stuff, information out. And again, one more time. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And if you'd be so kind to share, and if you didn't feel anything, that's fine. It takes about 2 or 3 days. Some people are very sensitive to energy. Some people are not. You may feel itch, tingle, heat, warm, lighter. You may want to go to the bathroom. You may want to pass gas. You may feel not. All those things. And all those things are blockages are being released. You may feel more pressure in your back, but know that's going to dissipate very soon. So,
Okay.
How do you feel? Do you feel anything? Do you want to share with us?
I feel light. I feel calm. I feel tranquil. I feel peaceful, serene. It's a serene feeling.
Good. You will release a lot more than you would even imagine. And again, like I said, one of the things I recommend to people, make sure and get something to eat and drink. And I always say to people, after you do a healing session, go and take a shower from head to toe. So to wash out whatever energy is around you. If you smudge, you like candles, incense, do it. Smudge the energy around you because it's just going to dissipate it. Because today is a new day. And like I said, one of the things I always say is there's 2 dates. There's 2 birthdays. Your birthday, so happy birthday. And the day that you recognize and realize, what's your life purpose. And every day you should recognize what your life purpose is because every day is a birthday. Right? So take some deep breaths, relax. So I know you said how you're feeling, but how are you feeling now in terms of if you had any issues prior to this? Is there anything changed or shifted from what you could recognize? And maybe not that you consciously know for the moment, but believe me, you did.
Not really, but I just feel calm and quiet right now, peaceful.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. Why? Because peace is what we all want, and calmness. So your heart is opening up. Do you feel anything around your chest area?
No, not really.
Okay, behind your back, behind your chest, your breast there. Yeah, and that's what that is. Oh, she's had healing. Trust me, she's had healing, and the body is going to react a little bit different. And as she moves around the energy, she's going to feel different. She's going to be relaxed, but she must eat. So this is kind of what we do, and that's why we say there's hope. There's hope, and please do know that was not me doing that healing. Okay, that was not me whatsoever. Whoever we called upon, or whoever she called upon, is the one that came, and of course, it's direction through a very disciplined modality that we have, which is a technique and a style, which is the gift that many of us have gifts. We have healing gifts where we have the ability to heal within ourselves like you did. So what is, now that you're doing that and your body is kind of working with it, what it is you want to say to our lovely audience? We're here with Francisca Epale, and she's the author of How I Conquered Breast Cancer Without Chemotherapy. She sort of tricked her doctor in saying yes, she's going to take the lump out, but she did do the chemotherapy, and she's still here. And again, the message is she's an advocate to share the story with everyone. So please go ahead, Francisca.
Yes. Before I say this, let me read out the medical disclaimer. The medical or health information in this book is provided as an information resource only, and it is not used or relied on for any diagnosis or treatment purposes. The information is not intended to be patient education, does not create any patient-physician relationship, and should not be used as a substitute for professional diagnosis and treatment. One message I will share with the audience: if you are a female of childbearing age please do regular self-breast examinations because mammograms are not 100% accurate. I was the one who caused my lump. So when I went to the doctor, he examined me. He said, but the mammogram did not catch it. And I just smiled as if to say, don't you know that mammograms are not 100% accurate? But I didn't say a word. You know, you don't challenge your doctor. Sometimes when they say stuff, I just smile. So examine your breast regularly. Don't be shy. It's your body. If you don't want to examine your breast, ask your husband. If you don't want to ask if you don't have a husband, go to the doctor. And if you don't want to go to the doctor, hire a breast massager. That's the new career you could have, a breast massager. Yeah.
So
don't be shy.
Okay, so for just quickly for a moment, what can you just explain for those who don't understand how to do a self-testing? Just quickly go through them for like a minute or so and say what you need to look forward. Like, you know, you lie down, you do something, what it is.
Okay. A nurse said that you should massage your breast 50 times, 25 clockwise and 25 counterclockwise, and feel your breast for lumps. It is best to do it in the shower. So feel it. Hold one breast and feel it with your fingers all around the nipples and everywhere for any lumps. You should do that every day. Don't be scared. It's your body. I did interview quite a few women, and they all said they don't do it. And I said, why? Because they're scared. Scared of what? Well, they don't want to know that they have something there. I said, it's good to do it because you could save your life. So also, you should know that breast cancer is not a death sentence if it is caught early. I caught mine when it was stage 2. Once you get a lump, just go to the doctor. Don't do as I did. When I felt it, I said, oh, it's dense breast. I was lucky. Mine was early. So if it's early, it is not a death sentence. Not everybody who has breast cancer dies. You can save your life. And I chose to do chemotherapy because I lost 5 family members from chemotherapy. And also at that time, I had a part-time job, and my closest family member lives 5 hours away who is married with children. And when you go through chemo, you need a family member to take care of you. He's not going to leave his family to come and take care of me. So I decided to do an alternate route. I used non-traditional medicine. It was just my choice, and it was just my journey.
Thank you for sharing that. And I want to dedicate this show to many people I know and some I don't. And to my girlfriend Asha C. Turan, who died at the age of 40 of breast cancer, mostly in German, and many, many more I know who has passed because of the cancer. There are many any kind of cancer, any kind of illness, disease. But these are young women who were taken very young, and there's a few more others I went to school with that were taken away from their families because of cancer. And they lived for many, many years. And for everyone out there in your family as well, Francisca, you are the voice, you're the light to carry on and pass this message along. And this is why they chose you. But no one can talk about this unless they go through and walk the walk so they can talk the talk. So you're the chosen one. There's a light, in spite of the fact why was your life not perfect. But you see your life being perfect because it's who you are and you accept it, and that's what you got to do because everything is possible. It's all about your attitude and you change your lifestyle. So I want to thank you so much, Francisca, for hanging out with us, for sharing your story. And I wish you all the best. And people, pick up a copy of her book, learn. This show was to share her journey, but she has the information there. How I conquered breast cancer without chemotherapy. So I want to thank you so much, Francisca.
And thank you for having me on your show, Dianne. It was a pleasure sharing my journey.
Thank you so much, because if you open your eyes, there's so many things that, go to a breast massage therapist. Didn't even know that was a thing. But hey, Everything is an occupation now. And if you're shy about doing things, we're in a stage, and I also recommend colonoscopy. That's a whole nother conversation. But the fact is that if you're shy, don't be shy. All my doctors have been males, and I got terrible skin, and I'm not even going to go there. But it reached a point after having kids and so many, ultrasounds and all kind of stuff. You reach a point whereby that goes out the window. Don't be conscious and self-conscious of your skin and so forth. I should be the one who is more self-conscious than anything else. But I just put that through the window. I might be self-conscious in front of other people, but for my doctors, no. When you got to push a baby out, you don't care who is watching you there. There's nobody's watching. One of my doctors said once, you see one, you see all. Over 25 years. Yeah, it makes no difference, right? So I want you to, it doesn't matter if you're small-breasted or big-breasted. The point is, you still have hormones, you still have breasts. And yes, I know what dense breast is about because I have it. And believe me, it's uncomfortable, even when you're doing an ultrasound, a mammogram, and everything else. And even when you're breastfeeding. So don't believe that you're alone. No, you're not. You're certainly not. But be smart. We live in a world where there's so much information out there. Educate yourself. Don't wait for someone to come and say. Prevention is huge. Or even acknowledge it, or discovery is huge. Don't ignore it. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being with us. Thank you again, Francisca, for being with us today and sharing your story. Continue to be the light. Continue to be the advocate. And if it's one person who hears this message today and can pass it on, that's what it is. Just take a candle and just light another by passing on the message. I want to thank each and every one of you guys, for being here as well. And this is why we do what we do here. The Love, Peace, and Harmony. Play this song in the background 24/7. I guarantee you will get help. But you got to be smart about it. Thank you so much. So on that note, I would like to say, Aloha, Sitaram, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom. Good morning, good evening, and good day. And you have a fabulous evening and make someone smile. Laugh.
Thank you.
Do something special for them. Little thing. Because you never know what's going on inside. Thank you all. We love you guys. We honor you and we appreciate you. In love, peace, and harmony. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you very much for having me again. Bye, Diane. Bye, everyone.
Bye.